Good morning, plant fans. Welcome to the Melbourne subtropic fruits tropical Melbourne jungle after a lot of rain we've had. I'm going to do a bit of a class in Cherimoya pollination, but first I'll just show you how the Alfonso is going. We've still got a couple of fruit on the Alfonso. Up here and a new panicle, and the Paxton prolific is hopefully self-pollinating in this very humid, wet conditions, which they tend to do. So keeping fingers crossed. I've done a couple pollinations by hand, but I think this weather is perfect. It's usually around February or late January. This is the Quan mango. This has got some really nice set fruit that haven't twiddled off. You know how you can twiddle off the ones that go yellow at the bottom? But I don't expect this to hold them all. And it's got another panicle up here. Now let's get on to the Cherimoyas. Now, this particular Cherimoya, I stuck a seed in the pot with this banana. It's a seedling of a known type of seedling, which is a giant Cherimoya seedling. Still not had a really good one yet, but I'm sure I will eventually. But this is already, I've hand pollinated this a few weeks ago, and it takes a couple of weeks for it to show pollination. But you can see here and here, and up here, that's a larger one. Very hard to see. But here I've stripped off one of the leaves of the flower, and I'll demonstrate how we do this. Now, my equipment is the most important factor, is the brush. You need a good brush. If you're pollinating such fruit that you want success with, use good quality equipment. Now, these aren't expensive. I was in the business of using these particular brushes in ceramics years ago, and have plenty available. And this thing's about 20, probably 30 years old. So I cared for this, and it's still working well. But $5 to $10, you know, we paid more through our warehouses I bought from, but I'm sure they're available today through eBay. But they just keep a fine point. They have a nice point. Now, the other piece of the equipment is my container. So I use a 35mm container that you can get like a pack of 10 or something for a few bucks from online, eBay, I think. And they're good because they hold static electricity if you rub them on synthetic clothing. Now, inside, I collected some pollen yesterday, and it's been in the fridge and it's warmed up now, but you can see some anthers on the side. But the very fine dust is the pollen you want. So I'll just demonstrate how I normally one-handedly try and get this brush happening. So I usually just take some pollen from around the sides, just on the tip of the brush, like that. It's hard to get this done. There we go. So just a little bit of pollen, just on the very tip. You don't need a huge amount. Okay, I'll pack this away. Now, using the tip of the brush, I'll go up and just touch the pollen onto the base of the flower in that area. Normally I just go in and do one gentle touch, but this is just for the sake of the video. So there you have it, pollinating Cherimoyas. What I normally do too, if I do it my normal way, is that I just break off one of these so I know that I've done that flower and I won't do it again. Now let's do a quick visit outside. I'll just okay, coming out to the front, I just wanted to show the avocados that were near death. These were in bags, and avocados don't like being in large pots. These have been in these pots for about 8 years, maybe 10 nearly, and they don't like it. And they were really declining badly. This one I've had to cut the top off, but this was nearly dead. They're coming back to life again, and the bacon that was pretty well dead. And look at the new growth. I've chopped the top pretty well off this as well, and even this lamb hearth here is holding fruit, which it shouldn't have. It shouldn't have even set any fruit. But the technique I used, I got hold of through a friend, some of these. It's called an injection system, where you put a special Phytophera killing agent in there. You draw it back with the liquid and you pressurize it into the tree. And for instance, on this one, we'll go find one here. There's one I did. So this is screwed in. It's actually healed. Oh no, it hasn't. It's actually healing. So I screw these in and then pressurize it. So I screw it in and pressurize it. So drilling I can't remember how many mil hole in about 1/2 inch, and these sit there for up to 24 hours injecting the liquid. And you do it, maybe this I did once, bigger ones I did with 3 syringes, but in general 2, because it depends on the size of the trunk. But I will probably offer this system for people who have trees going to a near-death experience. This is used commercially up north in Queensland and New South Wales because they get Phytophera too. Can't stop the stuff. But I wouldn't plant another tree in the same spot unless you were pretty sure that it was going to not be sensitive to Phytophera. Like the pawpaws. Here's my American pawpaw. Not much fruit on it this year because of those rotten storms we had in November, but I've got some on the back seedling. So now around here, actually I've got flowers on the star fruit. Now there was some really, oh here we go, there's some nice flowers. Hopefully we get some setting for once. It would be a bonus. So these were starting to flower over a month ago in my past video. Now one thing I wanted to show you, well I've been hand pollinating this one too, but this one opened a bit later than the one in the backyard. So this Cherimoya, see how I've torn a petal off this? So I know I've already pollinated that yesterday. And here's a fruit. Oh no, that's not a fruit. Yeah, there's a fruit that's developing here. But I wanted to show you, I was seriously worried about this tree. This was my Ben Hur. The one I neglected to water properly a few weeks ago when the hot weather hit, and I was away a couple of days. But it actually is loaded with flowers. It looked beautiful yesterday before the rain, but I wanted to get it before it dropped all the petals because it was actually quite magnificent. So there you go. Thanks guys, like and subscribe, put some comments down the bottom